Marshall, so, boy, Michael Haugen, an exciting player with that 236 opening match win over Tommy DeLutz, and Brian Voss will take a seat. It will be Haugen to throw the first shot in this second match of the Albuquerque Open. Match 2 for you, and we'll listen to this young kid because when he lets it go, there's a little talking. Started off. Come on. Right where he left off, Marsh. So now it's Brian Voss. And we may see different styles here. Voss likes to kind of not go totally straight, but he'll go a little straighter probably than Haugen.
Well, he'll be hooking the ball a little bit more than Haugen, but not hooking it quite as much as we saw the Tommy DeLutz in the prior match. Playing near the center of the lane. And that's just Brian Voss's way of telling Michael Haugen that he's right there with him.
Stoic look from Brian Voss.
And a textbook shot from Brian Voss. Ball, the 1-3 pocket, high, flush, 10 pins in the pit. Great delivery, as you can see. 218-plus average last year with over 700 games, so quality bowling for Brian Voss.
Second frame. Hall of Fame. Beautiful shot.
And take that, Mr. Haugen.
Well, Voss has been there many, many times. 70 appearances. 10 in the pit.
Brian Voss, this is his 70th career championship round. As we take a look at the classic form of Brian Voss, our other four bowlers, only 15 telecasts between them. That was left. Bad shot, Michael Haugen.
That was pretty bad. Well, he got out of the gate early in the opening match, and really, DeLutz never gave him a match.
Going with the straighter ball, able to make it. Very good spare. The scores were not as high this week as they had been in recent weeks. I believe our tournament leader frame.
He won a couple of tournaments from that third-seeded spot. Got it out, got it back.
Hey, this just infill. Brian Voss is good.
It's going to be an interesting feeling for Voss being the only PBA champion among the five.
Well, I think it puts more pressure on Brian because, as I said earlier, it's perceived that he should win. Lots of pressure. Brian right now he's trying to stay a little bit calm. As you see, member of our Hall of Fame. Doesn't want to get too excited too early in the match. Well, that'll get him excited. A 10-pin just falls a little bit late.
Wow, Brian Voss out the gate in match 2. 4 in a row, and Brian Voss now up by 30. Look at that shot. Oh, you got to come back for more of this. It's Voss going up against Haugen from Albuquerque. Voss with 4 strikes to start this second match. He's up on Michael Haugen by 30. And Marshall had an opportunity to talk to Brian Voss on how important it is for him to keep his streak alive. He's won at least one PBA title in 12 straight years.
I think Brian is I think he's a little too modest right now. I mean, I foresee him being a dominant player out here for a number of years to come. Stays in great shape, and right now, up by 30 pins. And even though it's just the 4th frame, very important for Michael Haugen to make a statement, especially on the right lane field. Had a little problem here of late. Better shot, but no, slower speed. Ball hit his target. Make a move. Looked like the speed was a little slow. He said he needs to make a move, and we'll see.
Haugen making his second career PBA telecast. He placed 5th in the Columbia 300 Open last year.
Michael Haugen's mother, Vicky Pinter, and with his uncle.
Cheering him on. He won the opening match, an impressive win. over Tommy DeLuxe Jr. Haugen now facing a tougher test, and Brian Voss, 5th frame.
And still in control of lane 23.
Boy, he mixed him up.
Great action. The ball coming in light. Just catches enough of the head pin. The head pin takes care of all the damage. The rest of the pins knocks them all down. Voss currently working on 4 in a row. Haugen, strike, spare, strike, spare, strike. Not going to get it done against this man, Brian Voss.
What a classic style.
Voss starting to get the feeling of putting this man away early. 5 shots, 5 strikes, 40-pin lead. You notice as excited as Voss gets after the ball is delivered, he calms himself down immediately, knowing that he's got business to do.
Voss in the 6th frame, won 2 of his 20 titles last year. The Brunswick Johnny Petraglia Open, also the National Finance Championship in Virginia Beach. That was a thriller for Walter Ray Williams, Jr. Boy, he's averaging 238 on this TV pair.
Look out. That ball was headed right for the head pin high, but it held on. And he knows he stole one right there. Right here, the ball looks like it's got to go high, but it hangs on. Stops hooking. And here's a surprise, Brian Voss.
Yeah, that reaction at the end was like, hold off just a bit, and it did. Here comes Haugen, trying to answer in the 6th, trying to get a double. Well, he didn't come up high.
Yeah, you said it, Michael. You made the adjustment to keep the ball from coming up high. The ball slid too far, leaving the 2-pin, and right now, Voss has 6 strikes. Haugen has 3. No doubles for Michael Haugen. The best he can do is 240 for Haugen. Brian Voss right now already working at a 249 pace.
Voss with 6 in a row.
For Haugen right now, there's no reason to be nervous. I mean, he's bowled one very good game. Brian Voss is throwing so many strikes right now. The pressure's really off Haugen. And it's becoming less and less with each strike, each shot that doesn't strike.
What happens? He threw such a great game, and now coming up a little bit light. What happens with the lanes and the oil out there?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with, we see the ball just coming in a little light, leaving the 2-pin. It has a lot to do with maybe the gentleman sitting down to his right, Brian Voss. He's bowling a seasoned veteran, a Hall of Famer, and I know from personal experience that I've gone from shooting 250 one game to shooting 150 the next, and it does not take very much in just maybe a little change in speed or the way the ball comes off your hand, and all of a sudden you go from having the entire lane to having nothing.
Voss in the 7th frame. Nothing but X's. Making another one. And $10,000 extra payday for 300. I just had to bring it up. 7th frame.
I think it was very appropriate to bring it up then. Most of the players played the deep inside angle that Voss is playing right here. Great shot once again. Time to get excited. You know, we talked earlier about his sense of history. Well, how about the history of shooting a 300 game? You know he would love to add that to an already stellar career with all the accomplishments he's had.
8th frame, Voss.
Disappointing. Solid 4-pin for Brian Voss. The 300 game is gone, but the win is pretty much assured. Ball just doesn't stop this time. The last shot on that lane, ball quit hooking. If you see the reaction, he's hoping, and nope.
Picks it up, so Voss going at a 259 pace. He looks pretty good here in this second match. Brian Himmler awaits the winner of this match. We'll be back with more of the Albuquerque Open in a minute. Voss for 7 strikes. We're going to 4-pin pick that up. He's in control here in match 2. Today on ABC Sports, a final round coverage of the 40th annual Bob Hope Chrysler Classic from La Quinta, California. Defending champ Fred Couples is part of a strong field that also includes the hottest player on tour, David Duval. Action gets underway at 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific, live on ABC Sports. And now it's time to get back to this match. Haugen. A little trouble here in match 2, Marshall.
Well, the best he can do is 229. Right now, Brian Voss working at a 259 pace. You know, Phil, the oil was a little shorter this week, 4 feet shorter than it was last week. And what that did was it made things difficult in the morning because the back end's hooked a lot. Speaking of hooking a lot, that needs to.
Well, that didn't work.
At least he's making adjustments and he's keeping himself
Not a good idea.
in a good frame of mind. You know, not beating himself up.
Well, you learn from this experience, don't you?
Absolutely. And Michael is certainly not short on confidence. Certainly look to see him back here in the coming weeks.
Haugen up in the 9th frame. Tried something a little bit different.
I'm not sure why he would move on lane 23. He hasn't missed on that one for one time. We take a look at Michael Haugen with a little bit of fortuitous 6-pin tripping.
Is that a penalty?
Not at all.
Voss in the 9th.
Boy, he's so smooth.
Not today.
Boy, just beautiful to watch. Brian Voss is Michael Haugen. Congratulates Voss as he sits on the chair. So Voss will move on to face another exciting player, Brian Himmler.
And Brian Himmler has bowled in a lot of telecasts. Hasn't had his first title yet, but certainly a veteran of television bowling in a short period of time on tour.
Big strike for Brian Voss. He must be rooting for the Falcons, I guess. Coming up in a week, they take on. Who are they? Oh yeah, Denver Broncos.
Yeah, just the Denver Broncos. Brian Voss, possible 279, Willie strike.
There's your full 9.
And next week, we'll be in Dallas. Perfect warm-up prior to the Super Bowl.
Should be great bowling in Dallas and an exciting Super Bowl in Miami.
So Brian Voss,
Make it.
260 plus, and he's going to give it a go. Asking the crowd, and they say, yeah.
If he makes it, 267.
Net.
If he gets one, 266. Not really a big problem for Brian Voss. Great game.
Well, one step closer to winning his 21st PBA title. But you got a couple of tough young kids up in front. Brian Himmler and then Chris Barnes on top.
Yeah, he moved in on the right hand. Looked as if Michael Haugen needed to play in on the right-hand lane and out on the left-hand lane. And he has learned something from this match against Brian Voss.
Another good looking young player out here on tour, Marsh.
Well, we've got a bunch of them.
For the average player, do you recommend tennis shoes? I mean, just...
Well, I'd have killed myself if I'd worn tennis shoes. Because, you know,
right.
I had a slide, you know, the big as Texas. But Michael Haugen doesn't like to slide. We've had other bowlers in the past. Another bowler that comes to mind, former PBA champion, former player, Bobby Jacks, who wore tennis shoes.
Charlie Lacey, did he?
There's another one.
So Brian Voss is the winner. We'll take on Brian Himmler in the Albuquerque Open. And Marshall Holman has another tip for you.